Picture this. You walk into the classroom after Easter and say to your class, today we're going to be continuing our work on subordinate clauses. Only for the majority of the class to look at you with a blank stare and ask, what's that? Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression. Welcome to my classroom, and today we're going to be exploring the forgetting curve. What it is, methods to improve your memory retention, and methods to get better results in the classroom. Since the beginning of time, memory has played a huge part in our survival. Historically, our brains would store information to help us avoid physical or psychological harm. But today, our ability to absorb and retain information is key to our personal and professional development. So what is the forgetting curve? In the 1880s, a German psychologist called Hermann Ebbinghaus wanted to understand more about why we forget things and how to prevent the loss of memories over time. His experiments involved remembering nonsense words and syllables, which he would attempt to recall after different lengths of time. His results created what has become known as the forgetting curve. This showed that when learning something new, we forget a whopping 60% of the information within the first hour. 80% of the information within the first day, 90% of the information within the first week, and an incredible 95% of the information within the first month. So not satisfied with knowing when, Ebbinghaus also wanted to understand why the forgetting curve happens. He discovered that information has a use it or lose it quality, meaning it's easier to retain something that'll be used regularly or revisited soon after learning. He also discovered that it's easier to retain information if it has relevance or meaning. As the words he wanted to remember were nonsensical, they would naturally be harder to retain. If you think back to your school days, you're more likely to remember the lessons you found interesting or engaging. But you've likely forgotten topics that you didn't feel were relevant. I really didn't enjoy geography, and that probably explains why I didn't know where France was until I was 18. Feel free to judge. In 2015, scientists reproduced Ebbinghaus' findings and concluded that his methods and theories are still as true as ever. But they were also able to explain why memories work the way they do. So get ready for some science. Our memories are stored in ensembles of neurons called engram cells. Recalling memories or information requires the reactivation of these cells. In simple terms, forgetting is when we simply can't reactivate the cells that have stored the information. The process of forgetting happens in different ways. Memory decay, where memories fade over time. Memory displacement, where old memories are replaced with new ones. And memory interference, where information becomes confused with similar memories, causing them to change. So what can we do to break the forgetting curve and improve your memory retention? So we'll start with you. What can you do to improve your own memory? Well, there are many things that can affect our memory. And one thing that honestly I hadn't actually thought of until researching this video is cognitive load. Noise, distractions, and things on your mind are all examples of cognitive load. And these can have a severe impact on your ability to retain information. How you deal with the cognitive load can also be impacted by your age, your mental well-being, illness, or alcohol and medications. Reducing cognitive load allows for focus to be placed on the learning that's taking place in order to retain the information and form new memories. If you are struggling with outside stress or concerns, work can be your safe haven. If it's personal difficulties, it's likely you can't control it or deal with it during working hours. In work, you can be in control. And one thing you could do is to imagine you've put all of your worries in a box, then you leave that box by the entrance to the school. If you can't do anything about it during your work day, there's no point thinking about it, and it'll just distract you from remembering important details from your lessons. Challenging your memory improves your ability to reactivate your engram cells when you need to recall information. Try writing down information and giving yourself different amounts of time to recall it. Or completing journals that require you to recall different memories can improve your cell reactivation. You could also try brain training games and apps to challenge yourself and keep your mind agile. See the description below for some suggestions, and whilst you're there, like, subscribe and click on the bell to keep hearing more from My Progression. There are many methods you can use to help your students retain important information. Mnemonics. Mnemonics are popular techniques to repackage information into a way that's easier to remember. You'll have all heard 30 days has September, April, June and November to remember the days in a month. Or maybe it's my very easy method just speeds up naming planets when you were learning about the solar systems in science. If you have key information that you need students to remember, mnemonics help make the information memorable, and you can have a bit of fun with it. Rule of 3. I live by the rule of 3. When I'm putting together training and deciding on the learning objectives, I never have more than 3. The rule of 3 is a storytelling principle that suggests people better understand concepts, situations, and ideas in groups of 3. Have you ever wondered what the 3 little pigs, the 3 blind mice, Goldilocks and the 3 bears, the 3 musketeers, the 3 wise men, and the 3 stooges have in common? All stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Don't try and overload your students with too much information at once. Aim for 3 key goals, and it's more likely to stick. Learn 3 times. So I've got another 3. Repeating learning material is essential for retaining what you learned. Big surprise? Not really. Now, did you know that you should repeat every new topic at least 3 times for effective learning progress? This is an easy thing to do and probably something you do in every subject already. Teach the topic, get them to use the topic, set some homework on the topic. Then we have spaced learning. Spaced learning, or distributive practice, is when information is broken down into sessions and reviewed to tackle the forgetting curve. We already know that we lose the majority of information within an hour of learning it. However, if we condense the learning into shorter sessions and revisit the information, it's easier to reactivate our engram cells and encourage the memories to form. Making the learning memorable can make all the difference for memory retention. Research shows that memories are activated more strongly by images, senses, emotions, or patterns, which is all the more reason to get creative with your lesson planning. And on that note, why don't you break your own forgetting curve and re-watch our video on lesson planning? I've been Natalie from My Progression, and if you found this video on the forgetting curve useful, then share it with a friend, as sharing is caring. And as always, let's keep your career in motion.